Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wildlife Wednesday. Today I'm going to be taking you guys around Bethel Horizons Pond down in the valley, better known as Question Mark Pond. I'm not sure what we're going to see down there. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do down there, but I'll give you a little glimpse into what we call Question Mark Pond here at Bethel Horizons.
Oh yeah. Well, after that nice little intro, you can clearly see that there is I'd say a moderately sizable population of largemouth bass that live here in Question Mark Pond on Bethel's property, along with one other fish species that I know for sure lives in the pond, and that being the bluegill. You could say there's a couple other animals that really enjoy the specific landscape or the specific ecosystem of the pond. One of those being the beaver. Another one of those being turtles, such as red-eared sliders and painted turtles, even a few or the occasional snapping turtle. Now, as I mentioned before, beavers make up a large part of this ecosystem. They are what is known as an ecosystem engineer. That meaning that they are able to create their very own ecosystem in which they live. They are able to do that by building dams. But in some scenarios, you will see a creek that is fully turned into a brand new pond, such about this big, and that is why they are called ecosystem engineers, because they will build their own ecosystem and ecosystems for others around. One of the other, you could say, wonderful traits of being in a more aquatic or more of a wetland kind of habitat is that there are a lot of bugs. I'm not sure if the camera is picking them up right now, but I have an absolute ton of gnats flying around the camera and around my head. They are really everywhere. And so while it may be quite annoying to have these these gnats flying around you all the time, even with bug spray on, trust me, they do provide a substantial food source for many, many animals within the ecosystem. Now, there are two key plant species that I'd really like to point out here. The first being a willow. This is a willow. I'm not sure what species of willow, but it is in the willow family. And they just love these wetter environments where they can just have a field day. They absolutely require very, very wet soils. Another plant I'd like to talk about is this fern here. This is called a sensitive fern. Something very unique about the sensitive fern is that you may think of ferns as growing within forests, maybe even coniferous forests, where there are many pine trees or junipers or things like that. However, these ferns really do enjoy growing out in the open environments, however, do require a large amount of moisture within the soil to grow and to flourish, such as these sensitive ferns are doing here. So thank you again for joining me on this week's edition of Wildlife Wednesday, and I really, really hope that you are able to get outside to maybe relieve some stress, find some solace within the natural world, because I know I do personally. Alright, I'll see you next week on the next Wildlife Wednesday.